Well, welcome to Toffee TV. It is Club Call.
Club Call, yeah.
I feel like I haven't stopped talking for about 3 weeks. So here's your chance to talk. Instead, give us a call.
Okay.
The link is at the top of the Toffee TV Premier menu.
Mm-hmm.
If you're new to Toffee TV Premier, get involved. Here's your chance. The link's there. Just click on it. Have a pair of headphones on, whether you're on your phone, iPad, laptop, whatever. It's free. You can call us from anywhere in the world. Just need two things: headphones and a good signal. So, don't be in the middle of a field in your tractor trying to give us a call if you haven't got decent signal. It has happened.
You having a go pass?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I just want to address one thing before we start.
Address it.
Bob in the comments.
Okay.
I wish Baz and Ped had been more angry on Sky about the owner, but spot on about getting behind the team. What you have to remember is the minute Ped wasn't angry, but he was very firm at what he said. The minute you go on Sky, the minute you start ranting, you just cut it, and you're told before, so you lose the message. The message was very clear.
I was angry, really angry the other week on it. I think it's about being firm and getting your message across.
It's fair. They don't,
and they'll come back then.
They don't come back if you go on. They cut it and don't come back.
They won't come back.
So it's about the messaging, isn't it? That's what it's about. And remember, it's just all. It's only our opinion. If you agree with it, great. If you don't, fine. Lots of people saying smashed it on Sky Sports. Brilliant. Thank you very much for all of those comments. If you like it so much, hit the like button and subscribe.
If you're too angry, the message gets lost. They just see angry men
and then it's
of
gone.
A certain age.
No place for angry men.
And we want to get that message across.
What was it called? No place. No, what was it? Wasn't that a film?
No Place for Angry Men.
Was it No Place for Angry Men?
No, it was not.
Something for angry men, I'm sure. No Place for old men. Don't know. Something. Michael C says, Baz is the phantom headlocker being identified. I don't know. I've not heard it. The police haven't heard it. I don't think of the. But it's listeners the day after, the night before, isn't it? The window is shut. What we've said is we know what we've got to go with now for the last 18 games, although Andre Ayew is in the country to talk to Everton, Nottingham Forest and Crystal Palace. So welcome Ayew at Palace or Forest. I don't know. Does 33 years of age, out of contract, free agent, smack of panic? Or could it be an inspired signing, as in very little expected, but he comes in and gets a couple of important goals? Who knows? But we'll see what actually happens with that one. If Everton were to get him, I would hope it'd be a short-term deal or the break clause in the summer.
Can beggars be choosers?
Are we beggars? We are, aren't we?
We are
very
beggars,
much so.
very much beggars.
It's just, I think that the thing I don't want is us to...
No, I know, Ned.
We know, mate. We know.
I know, Ned.
I
can see it in massive writing.
The thing we don't want is to block up some big wages on someone who...
I can't see that happening personally.
No, but if he's got two other options, then he's got the opportunity.
Yeah. Right, let's jump in.
Go ahead.
We've got Astro on the line.
Let's do it.
Hopefully he's got
a
decent signal. There he is, isn't it?
No frog chorus.
Yeah, mate.
You're right, mate.
No frog chorus. I'm out in the car. I just had a bite of lunch, sitting here waiting on you guys to go live.
There's a frog.
Is that a frog?
There is a frog. But it's fine. Listen,
it's fine.
It's more like Toad the Toad Hall. It's fine.
It's fine. Go on.
Go on.
Keep talking, mate.
Okay. No, if I had thought of the one.
And there we go. The frog got him.
The frog.
The frog
did
got him.
Feel like it was getting closer to him.
The
like, ribbit was getting louder.
The ribbit was going boom, 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 boom.
Like yours.
Hang on. He's back. We've got Nick back.
Yep, I got him. I'm back.
Go on.
Sorry,
okay.
The screen just went dark. No, mate. I just can't believe the way yesterday went down. It was literally like a car crash, and you couldn't turn away from it, and it just kept not happening. And I think that moving forward, it's very, very important that we speak intelligently and calmly and in unity about everything that's broken at this board, because or at this club, from the top to the bottom, because like, screaming and shouting, unless we all do it together and we do it collectively and we do it in a dignified way, we're never going to get to where we need to be.
No.
And it's time to get really serious. It's time to get really serious about calling out the right people in the right way and asking the right questions, because we don't have to point the finger when the data that we're looking at proves our point. It does that for us. And the error chain with Everton, because you look at this like an aircraft mishap, the error chain on this thing is a mile long. Okay, and yesterday in one of the spaces that I was able to jump in on, I was like, you know what? This is just like Challenger. It's a failure of imagination, okay, and it is absolute arrogance that is going to result in the death of a football club, not 7 astronauts, but a football club. And it's these people. I can't make any sense of their logic and what they do, because if they're asset stripping us for relegation, you did it wrong. Because I don't think you got rid of everybody that doesn't have a relegation clause in their contract. And if you were looking to buy players, you obviously failed at that. So the only thing that makes sense to me is that all that money we got in, obviously that $1 million for Broadhead and the $40 million for Gordon, that's all to balance the books and make us more attractive to investors and or a buyout, which I'm going to go out on a limb and say does absolutely nothing for us in sense to the relegation of the football club and our Premier League survival. And you've got to feel bad for Sean Dyche. Like, Pete, they had a better chance at the Alamo, okay? And we all know how that turned out, all right? So Everton is just literally it has to be Sean Dyche, old Stone Cold Sean Dyche. It's got to be the players and it's got to be the fans all together and say, you know what? We're doing this ourselves. The board, you're not welcome here. Don't speak, don't talk, leave it to the adults in the room. And when we get safe, if it's even possible, we're going to have a real serious conversation in the summer. And we don't let them off the hook. We were all tired. We were all worn out. We were all relieved at the end of last year. And that failure's on everybody. And by the way, you know what winners don't do? They don't put up pictures of near misses in their buildings. Okay? Winners don't celebrate losing. And I know we were all relieved when Everton stayed up last year, but you know what? We've got to change the culture of this football club. And celebrating near misses with high-resolution images in the canteen is despicable. And that's what losers do. And I'm sick of Everton behaving that way. We've got to change the culture from the top to the bottom. And that's just do you guys tell me where I'm wrong, because I don't know what to do, because I'm hamstrung. I'm sitting over here in the States and I can't do anything. All I can do is make stupid YouTube videos that I think people are what do we do at this point?
They're not stupid YouTube videos for a start, Nick. You've got a good opinion and you get it across really well. So don't ever say they're stupid. We make stupid YouTube videos every single day. If people want to listen to them, that's up to them, mate. One thing I would say is I think you've made a really good point there about speaking to the the board and stuff. The problem is, mate, it's that line. Where's that line of communication? I would love there to be a line of communication with the football club to be able to have that conversation with them. Right now, I think the football club should be talking to its fans, its customers. They should be talking to us now, and we should be going through what just happened. We should be going through the last month and talking and saying, what has just happened with this football club? Where did it go wrong? Where are we learning lessons?
Can I tell you something about communication as well? Everton have put Sean Dyche up tomorrow to the media.
Yeah.
On his own.
Yeah.
No Kevin Thelwell.
Oh.
No Kevin Thelwell.
Because it's just the press conference.
But they're introducing him as Everton manager to the press, so it's a press conference.
But it's isn't it just the? But
it's not just the match preview.
No, but it is the match preview slot, isn't it?
With both, yeah. But
that's what I'm saying.
I know, but they're unveiling him.
No, I know.
So therefore, the director of football should be sat next to him.
Yeah.
Because the fella is going to have to take on what Frank Lampard did. Sean, why didn't you bring anyone in?
But isn't that the point? Isn't the point that every week they have to do a press conference by the rights of the media rights, right? And they are using that slot to introduce Sean Dyche to the media. That tells you everything you need to know. They don't use extra spots, and you're absolutely right. There should have been one on Tuesday or Monday, introducing them to the media. They should have called a press conference at 2:30 or 3 o'clock. Sean Dyche is our new manager. Here's Kevin Felwell. Kevin Felwell's going to tell you why he's such a great fella, and Sean Dyche is going to tell you what he's going to do, and that should have been the case. But that's the point, isn't it?
The fellas they're both in the building though.
This football club doesn't communicate, and there is no instruction to communicate. They're in the bunker. They are literally in the bunker right now, trying to stay as far away from the fans as they can as possible, and it's not right. It's not right. They don't talk to us. You go on the Everton website right now, and the lead story will be Sean Dyche has become the new Everton manager. That's a story from 2 days ago.
No, it won't be updated.
That's a story from 2 days ago. The social media will be exactly the same.
No one will convince me that the delay of announcing Dyche as manager being moved to Monday, nobody can convince me that wasn't a tactical move. Because they wanted to give the fans something, some little bump, right? And the most barest of things, we've got a manager. Right, you know what? We did this last year. I'm sorry, I'm not going to get excited about this. We failed again to get the right person. But they moved it close to deadline day to get some kind of, in their minds, a positive bounce. And you're 100% right. They're going to trot that manager out again with both arms tied behind his back as a shield. They literally use managers as human shields to hide their dysfunction and their failure as a professional executive organization. And it's despicable. Like, it is honestly despicable. Sean Dyche is either certifiably insane or he is brave in a way that we all ought to get behind and recognize.
And
it's just...
Yeah.
Go ahead,
Ted, I was going to say, no, the thing about it is some clubs do that anyway. Some clubs will... Only, when times are great, Jurgen Klopp will come out and front it up for Liverpool, even though, when times were going great for Liverpool, he wasn't the guy bringing all the players in. Michael Edwards was bringing the players in, and, Klopp was fronting it, and he was taking all the credit because he's the manager at the end of the day. So it does work both ways. But this is all about communication right now. This is all about talking to the fans. This is all about calming the fans down. Even... What I don't get is, imagine this is like a political thing right now, right? When you've got two sides of the argument always in a political thing, and you have people who are, steadfast one camp and steadfast another camp. It's always the floating voters that decide who wins.
Sure.
And there's a lot of floating voters out there at the moment that Everton could sweet talk into being like, this is where we're going, and this is what we're trying to do, and this is the future of Everton Football Club, and look at the stadium and all. They're not even trying to sweet talk them. So that leaves a lot of airtime available for me and Baz and people who are doing the spaces and people who are doing the demonstrations and for Sky Sport. And what I would say is, in the past, the likes of the proper media would actually use that time to fill in for the club, but not this time. Not this time. Sky are getting us on. The BBC will get somebody else on. The newspaper, Jamie Carragher's done a piece today saying I was proved right. Everton are. So the media companies are using that space to show Everton up for what it is. Phil McNulty's just done an article for the BBC how bad Everton are. So where the club used to have friends and loyal people to do their bidding, that's not there anymore. They all smell blood. The blood's in the water.
Gloves are off.
And the gloves are off, and they're like, and this is what happened. Like, the only thing again I can equate it was with Hicks and Gillette at Liverpool. They were Americans. They were not proven. The fan base went up against them. And because Liverpool had a lot of local journalists and who were Liverpool fans, and a lot of journalists who were Liverpool fans in the national media, they went up against them. They smelled blood and we're going for this because and this is the top and bottom for me, certainly for the things I say and the things that we've done as a channel in the last few weeks. Is like, this is about saving our football club from the people who run it. We want our football club to be here for the long term, and we don't believe it will be here. There's been a lot of different things over the years where maybe there's been agendas or whatever. This time, it's all about saving our football club, and I think that's where Liverpool fans were with Hicks and Gillette. And I think other people in the media now are starting to sense that. It's like, this football club really, really are in a terrible way. Whereas I think maybe previously they thought, this is just a few disgruntled fans. What are they moaning about? And a lot of people looking at it going, oh my God, this massive institution of a football club could literally topple over into the abyss if this doesn't get sorted out. Let's go with this story. And I think I find it absolutely incredible that a football club that employed the guy who worked at the Liverpool Echo for 25-30 years has not got its finger on the pulse and does not understand that it has to start talking to its fan base. That to me blows my mind, that they think, don't get me wrong, I can understand why they want to keep Farhad Moshiri quiet, because he just talks absolute nonsense every time he opens his mouth. But why aren't you getting clever people to start talking the club up? And it's mad.
You know, the thing for me is that leadership is never easy, right? And I know that it's hardest in tough times. But the fact that the club doesn't have the basic knowledge and the basic tenets of leadership understanding to realize that they need to communicate and that they need to send somebody out. And if they know they've made a mistake, all right, stand up, put your hand up and go, hey, here's where we've let the club down. Here's where we've let the fan base down. And these are the things that we're going to do, right? And you could, because Evertonians are always up to support the guys on the pitch and the manager, on the touchline, they're going to get behind it. But at the end of the day, they burned their friendly journalists by feeding them bad information, okay? And then what else did they do? They gaslit the fans in that same equations. So they've literally burned all their bridges and they have nowhere else to go. Hence this bunker mentality that you're talking about. But all it takes to change is one single act.
Yeah.
And it sucks. Putting your hand up and saying you failed sucks. I've had to do it in my life and it sucks. And I hate that feeling. But by God, it sets you free and it gives you the ability to maneuver and work past it and learn from it. Because failure is the greatest teacher that ever existed if you let it be that. But this football club is so arrogant and so self-absorbed and so focused on its own self-protection that it cannot get out of its own way, and the data doesn't lie. We are in a tailspin, and I don't know how we get out of it. I've looked at every match moving forward, and I've tried to be as reasonable as possible, and I don't know how we get more than 35 points. I really don't.
That might be
the question is, and that's what I was going to say. It historically has been enough, right? But we need other teams to be worse. Well, other teams are not going to be worse categorically if they strengthened. So, for the situation that we find ourselves in, what do we do? And I don't. That's not a rhetorical question. That's me asking you both. What do we do? Because in my opinion, the only thing we can do is a unified voice shouting that board and that owner down, except for the 90 minutes those guys are on the pitch. And if we back them and we shout them and we turn Goodison into a cauldron from here on out. Every minute to win it, we fucking scream. Sorry, I shouldn't. I apologize for the language. We scream, okay? we absolutely rage against the drop. And then we go right back to shouting them out. Keep it positive on the pitch, but everywhere else is look at the data, look at the situation. The numbers don't lie. This club is failing. It's dying. And if it doesn't change, it'll be gone.
I think this is, let me just say this again and again, I might be speaking out of turn here because you just said something really, really important there about like, where do we go? It's like, this is where I really think once again the fans forum and the FAB have to stand up and give some representation to the fans because we are lacking some kind of we are lacking leadership and organisation within our fan base to ask those questions. And I think it's too much to ask for something like, NS Now, obviously the former 27 campaign, to do that because they're seen as like almost like a fringe group. I think it does need like the fans forum and the FAB. And I'm not calling those guys out, by the way. I know most of those people and they're all good people, but I think they have to they now have to demonstrate leadership for the fan base. And I know they don't talk for everybody. I appreciate that. But they are elected into their roles. So therefore, they have to take some responsibility now and ask those questions. And I think Jazz, who obviously, I'm friends with Jazz and spend a lot of time with him. He's a great guy. And he obviously did the interview with Farhad. Not really an interview as such. It was a Q&A. I think it's up to him and other people around him to come out and go, we did that interview with you. We sat down and you lied. You lied. You spoke to me. You spoke face to face, and it was face to face. You sat down and you lied to me. I would like answers to why you lied. No, he did, John. Johnny lied to him. He told him he was going to get him a centre forward, and he never. He lied. That's a lie. That's fine. That's fine. Then why, as a football club, did he put that out the night that Danjuma was getting off?
I know, but I'm saying
he lied. I don't know how many other ways I can cut it. If you put something out where someone lies, whether it was edited, whether it was put it out, he lied.
I disagree with you.
Well, in what way?
Because I think at the time he thought that where the club messed up was they should have edited it. But what they've done is they've thought, well, we've still got a week to go and we'll defo get one, so we'll leave that in. And they shouldn't have done. They should have took that bit out.
So they lied. No, but they lied.
I don't think you understand the definition of a lie. I don't think
if I promise you something right now and I fail to do it, then I've lied.
Not if the full I don't want to protect him here because he doesn't deserve protection.
No, but he lied.
What I would say is, I wouldn't say it was a lie, but what I would say is, he promised something he didn't deliver. When he said it, he thought Danjuma was done and dusted, and he wasn't. Clearly, but I don't think he lied because I think he thought when he recorded.
All right, it's not an intentional lie. He promised.
He promised something he didn't deliver.
He promised something he didn't deliver.
Absolutely.
Then okay,
and that's
I would call that a lie. That you call it something else. That's fine. But I think
I call it failure.
Failure, yeah.
Failure's fine.
I don't want to protect him because I'm not.
I call it failure.
No. I just call it a lie. Agree. Because
mate.
he was so certain in what he said that he lied, as far as I'm concerned. Because whether it was Danjuma or somebody else, he was so certain that he was getting as a forward, and we didn't get one. So I call that a lie. No, John, you can shake your head. That's what I call it. Okay. You can call it something else. I call it a lie. If someone promises me something and they don't do it, they've lied to me. Now I want answers to that. Now I want answers to tell me how he didn't lie to me. That's it.
Well, I've just told you.
I think that you add that to the long list of things that need to be spoken to. And I think the fan advisory board, they are in a very unique situation.
Yeah, go on.
The fan advisory board is in a unique situation where they could step up and step out and take a very, very proactive leadership role in the way that they address the concerns of the fan base. When you've got nearly 15,000 signatures on a vote of no confidence to the board petition that the Shareholders Association has put out, that's a really good sample size.
Yeah.
Okay? And you have to get people's verified email addresses for the signature to count. So these are real people who have enough concern that they went through, read that, and signed it. That's a great sample size to use as a foundation for a constructive argument moving forward to force this football club into a position where they have to answer for the abject failure on the commercial and the sporting side of things.
7,000 more votes and you get to change the badge. So, that's true though, isn't it?
No.
You got 22,000 on one badge. And it changed the badge that we've had on the share for the last 7 years. So therefore, that shows you the power of doing it that way. So, I think ultimately that it all comes down to communication. Fad Mashiri, whether you call it a lie, misspoke.
Someone's just said he'll sign Ayew, so he won't allow it.
He said in the transfer window.
I'm not defending him. I'm just saying, if I say to you, Ped, I'll get you that
John,
thing.
I don't care. I will talk about it because this is what we do.
The views of Ped aren't the views of Toffee TV.
To me, he has lied. He has lied to me. If he hasn't lied to anyone else, that's fine.
Right, let me do this super chat.
But he's lied. He promised us a centre forward and he didn't get us once. I call that a lie.
Okay. Stuart on the super chat says, if a form has to be signed off by 4 people before an offer, what hope do we have? Shows how out of date our club is. I bet they use big dunks pigeons too.
Analog club in a digital age.
That's
We're
the one.
Spinning
There you go.
propellers. We're spinning propellers, and everybody else has got supersonic jet engines.
There you go.
That's how it's. I don't know how this is still happening in 2023. I honestly don't. I can't get my head around it. All we can do is hope for change, mate. All we can do right now is work towards that change, can't we?
I have to be honest, right? I feel, and when you take the context of the conversation away, I too feel like Ped does. I feel like I was lied to, right? And that may be a visceral reaction, and it may be that I'm a raw nerve right now that's exposed due to everything that's happened. But you take it into context, and whether it was intentional or not, it was a failure and it was a falsehood. Yeah. And again, you're going to run Sean Dyche out tomorrow solo.
Oh,
Somebody should have the fortitude to say, you know what, I'll go in there with you and I'll answer these questions. I tell you what, give me a fact sheet. I'll do it. Put me on Zoom tomorrow. I'll answer all the questions. I'll speak up so he ain't got to. Apparently nobody else is literate and can read off of a piece of paper or has the balls to get up and do the right thing.
Yeah.
Honestly, shame on the club at this point. Shame on the club. But at the end of the day, we're going to keep fighting. You guys are going to keep producing quality content. Yesterday was great. It was awesome to see Sarah from Mint and Steve Kelly and everybody, Mike Cosgrove, everybody else, and John that was in there. It was great. You guys gave us something yesterday when nobody else did. So thank you for the great content. Thank you for the opinions and for speaking up for us. And we go on Saturday.
Cheers,
Nick.
Nick.
What I don't know, but we go again on Saturday.
Come on. Top man, Nick. Take care, mate.
See you, mate.
See you later. Bye.
See you, bye. See you.
Right, let me just clarify, right? Okay. I'm not defending
Farhad.
No. I'm saying in the thing, I'm not defending Farhad Moshiri because what I'm saying is just at that time, language is quite emotive, right? I don't believe he lied at that time. I believe whether it's arrogance, right? Whether it's stupidity, and I think it's probably a bit of both there. He was almost... I know what let me just finish because I'm talking to people now, not you. He was almost saying, we will get this. We'll get a centre forward. And this is the arrogance and the... I don't know what to... I can only think of it. I can't think of a better word than stupidity that he has run the club with. When you shouldn't be saying any... I mean, Sonny Norfolk on the super chat says, well, Dan Juma isn't a centre forward anyway, so he lied. Fair enough. I believe he thought that, but you don't say it. And the club, to me, the club are even worse, though, because why did that get put out?
But this is the arrogance. This is the arrogance, and this is why I do call it a lie, because he is telling us what we want to hear. He's telling us what we want to hear, and this is the whole crux of the man's ownership of the football club, is that there's no plan. It's always been, I did that because the fans asked me to. I sacked that fella because
we get blamed.
Exactly.
We've been blamed for everything.
So for me to come out and promise us that we were getting a centre forward, I fully understand what you're saying on that night, but that's where again the football club has got the editorial role there of putting it out on the day that basically.
But everyone knew, didn't he? On the was the Monday we knew, didn't we? That Dan Juma,
don't forget, right? And this is what makes me howl.
Cut it out.
This is what makes me howl about the whole thing, and this is where I can't mix my words. Is that on that night, his video was essentially taking the slot of the reveal video for Dan Juma. That's what makes me laugh. It was like we haven't got this, so we'll give you this. I don't understand that. I don't understand having doing this for so many years. And this is why you wouldn't get that out the day before the West Ham game.
That should have been out straight away.
That's why I can't give them. And I know it might upset people. It might upset people in this room. I can't give them any leeway. I can't give them anything.
No, it's not about
I can't give them anything.
It's them. It's whoever edits.
And I'm not asked about what the club might give us in the future or not.
Whoever edits stuff, right? That's to me. They're even worse because they knew what's gone on, right? They knew what was happening, what was going on. They knew how emotive it can be. They knew what the repercussions would be.
Because it makes them
Everyone
look
said, so if it makes them look stupid, why don't you just cut it out?
That's what I'm saying, though. That's what I'm saying.
Crazy.
That's what I'm saying.
Let me do the super chat. Ricky Kane on the super chat. Thanks, mate. Says, thought your interview's great on Sky. Really represented the fans well with your passion and knowledge. You've reminded me why I love the club and the fans. Let's hope we can stay up, but I'm not optimistic. Well, the views of us are just our views. If that's in line with other people, brilliant. But thank you very much, Ricky. And there's another one. I'm gone. Let me miss it. Where's it gone? There was definitely another one. Beggars End said, how much money do you think Everton have in the transfer kitty? Well, we have more now, don't we? I think there was a small amount, probably, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 million plus room for deals before they sold Anthony Gordon. So obviously you're looking for a low down payment, aren't you, on any kind of player early on. And this is what I was trying to say. Someone told me I was being contradictory on Anthony Gordon by saying, well, we shouldn't have sold him then. We should have sold Anthony Gordon, but we should have sold him within our time scale. End of story. We knew we needed that money before we could really put money down for other players. We should have given Newcastle a window which gave us enough time at the back end to go and replace him with. If we sold him, and we've ended up leaving ourselves with 2 days or whatever it was to buy a player. No one in the right mind sells that late when they can't do anything with the money. It just doesn't happen. I'm not saying the club shouldn't have sold.
Only we'd sell a player without having anyone else. No one else would do that, would they?
No. Well, it doesn't seem to, does it? Doesn't seem to, but it is a failure. It's an absolute failure because they turn round and gone, we will get this thing, this person, and they might still turn round and go, yeah, tomorrow we've got Andre Ayew. I got you a centre forward. I told you to get you a centre forward. That. Yeah. There you go.
Right, we've got Ben on the line.
Yeah.
Ben, are you there?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, go on, mate.
Can hear you, mate.
Go on.
Yeah, I just wanted to have a chat about Sean Dyche, really.
Go on, mate. Yeah, change the subject.
So, yeah, because the other subject's so depressing.
I know.
It is.
On that anymore. But it was just something that, Baz, I think you said the other week around the High Performance podcast, and I wasn't overwhelmed with Dyche's appointment initially, but I've gone back and watched that since, and I'm a little bit more positive about it now. I think there's certain things in his sort of mentality that we really need now, particularly around standards. And I know in the High Performance podcast, he mentioned about non-negotiables and his non-negotiables. I was just wondering, for you, as lifelong Everton fans, what would be your Everton non-negotiables?
Okay, hard work would be the first one, and that it sounds very basic, but I think that's what we like as a fan base. We like to see our team really putting everything into it. So I think that would be one. I think quality in your work, for me, aiming to be the very, very best. I want that right the way through the club. I don't just want that in my team. We'll be trying to be the very best. So if that means if I'm a centre forward and I'm not scoring goals, then I'm staying after training and doing more and more work. I'm watching videos. I'm trying to understand why I'm not scoring goals. So that would be, not just putting my shirt on, running around. That's non-negotiable, number one. Number two is striving to be the very best. Turning up for training, doing an hour's training and going home, which some of our players do, and as some of other players do. I don't think it's acceptable. I think, maybe when you're at the very top, you can do things slightly differently, but you should never, ever stand still as a footballer, ever. Because you've got a talent that's got you to a certain level. Why do other players go higher who don't even have, some of them don't have the same talent? There's players who are much better than Damari Gray, much better, playing at a higher level, without having maybe some of the talent he's got. So there's something missing in there, isn't it? And the third, let me think of the third one. I'll come back to you in a minute. There's two. Ped, go on. What are your three non-negotiables?
You'd say hard work, but it shouldn't even be spoken about.
But it has to be, doesn't it?
No, I know, but it shouldn't even be spoke about.
Completely agree.
Hard work. I think probably talent. Talent be a cracking one, wouldn't it? Talent.
They've got that talent to get there, though, haven't they? It's what they do with the talent for me.
Yeah, hard work. I don't know. After that, it becomes. I don't know. Yeah. I'm trying to think. It's really hard to just think of because it sounds stupid, but they're so easy, but to reel off. But they're just basics, aren't they? So
I'll give you the third one, humility for me. So that in terms of you treat everyone the same, whether they are your teammates, whether they're the owner, whether it's the fella on the gate when you drive into a training ground, whether it's the kit man, whoever, you'd have respect and humility. That would be my third one. And then with that, I think you can work with that. If you've got the hard work, you're right, that should be, you're an elite sportsman. But that I use that with the kids I coach now. It's about come and work hard. I don't care if you're not the difference, isn't it? With kids, you're not going to spy players out here, but you work as hard as you can so that your teammates are all doing the same. There's no one walking around. So hard work, strive to be the very best. So you do the extra work and
do the extra,
and humility. They will be my three. As in,
do the extra thing that makes that gets don't just do what you do in training, do the extra bits.
Don't just do enough,
do more than enough, and all those kind of things. I think it's hard if you're not necessarily. It's hard from sitting here because we only see the finished product, don't we, on the pitch? He'll know what he'll know from the training ground what needs to be done. I mean, little things like the socks and the shin pads and all that. I'm sure there's a bigger thing from all that he'll know, and it'll be a tried and tested thing where he knows what he's going to get out of that, or how that flips them doing things in training, or that's a mentality thing, and then there's all kinds of other things, isn't there? He'll understand things like the timekeeping and the dress code, and if you're around other people, to make sure that you are you're in the room, you've got headphones on and all these kind of things, and you have a certain amount of discipline. And all those things are things that maybe we wouldn't talk about, but he has to talk about, because he's got to know everyone's presence. He's got to know everyone's in the room. He's got to know that everyone's listening to what he's saying and aren't getting distracted by other things. So that's that's for him more than anything. But as you're saying, there's got to be it's hard these days because there's such a disconnect now between footballers and fans, and this is where I always find a lot of the documentaries really interesting, is because you see them doing things and you think, well, surely they should be doing that anyway, or even the way they talk to you. Watch the Arsenal with Arteta, and he's talking to them in such a way where you think a lot of people would just roll their eyes at that kind of stuff. But obviously footballers do need something said to them that is maybe a little bit different from what they normally get spoken to, just to try and get through to them, maybe, because they all live in their own little world. So we'll see. We'll see on. We'll probably see on Saturday. Maybe that will gauge what the base level is, and then find out where we can go from there in terms of that. We've said it loads of times, haven't we? Crystal Palace game, that's the standard, and then they fall under that standard, and it just sort of, the edges get knocked off slowly, and then something else becomes the standard, which is a little bit lower, because your expectations get so low. And again, that's where we are with Everton. That's where we have been for the last few years. Expectations are so low that you accept such little. And then when you see a decent player, you go, oh my God. It's like when James Rodriguez signed, you were like, that's what a proper footballer looks like. And teams of other clubs go, yeah, we know. Because you don't see it.
Let me ask, what are your three, Ben?
Well, I think a lot of what you guys have just said, probably the one thing to add on top of that is just to see them acting like a team.
Yeah.
And I think that starts in a lot of different ways. You can look at the small things like, going to the ground and leaving the ground on the same coach together, to, when they leave and enter the pitch, just doing that as a team and acting like a team. Onto bigger things like, when we do get a goal ahead, really trying to get that second, and when we do concede, pulling together to stop scoring that second one. That for me, that would be the one thing I'd add on top of what you guys have said so far, is to be able to see them acting like a team. and fighting together as a team.
I think that's what, whatever else Sean Dyche's deficiencies are, I think that'll be the kind of things that because if you have watched this, he's done 2 high performance podcasts now. So I've watched both of them. I've watched one with Ben Foster. I think I've watched another one with somebody else. So I've watched a lot of his stuff, and he is all about the small margins. And them small margins are you're a team. You do respect, you have a laugh together, but then you make sure you go out and you fight for each other. So we'll see, like Pez just said, we'll see as we go forward whether or not these players are able to do that, whether they have got enough humility, like I've just spoke about, to be able to do that, whether they're prepared to roll the sleeves up and do the hard work. It's great getting lads who and maybe feel like they're a little bit fortunate to get their opportunity in the Premier League, so therefore they work hard for you. Can you do it with lads who are on a hell of a lot more money than that and who've been a little bit more privileged in their football careers? Can you get them to do those bits? Yeah. Pep Guardiola's done it, albeit much higher level of player, but he's managed to get Man City working the socks off consistently. So on a lower level, can Sean Dyche get some of these players to do what we'd call the ugly side of the game as well, and stick together when doing it?
Just on that, I mean, and last one for me, because I know there's some other guys who are waiting to get on here as well. Out of our sort of current squad at the moment, who are you looking at as the people that are going to do well under Dyche, and who do you maybe think they don't quite have, maybe the right mentality or whatever to be a Dyche player?
I think the centre backs will be fine. I'm looking for Dominic Calvert-Lewin to do more. He's got to, quite simply got to. He's rightly or wrongly, everything is on him now, because he's the only one in the football club with a proven goal scoring record. He's been living off scraps, hasn't he, all season? But the times he's been available, so we've got to get him more opportunity. So I'm looking for him. It's debatable whether Damari Gray can do what the manager wants if we're looking at the other side of that. So it's up to him to prove himself. There's Amadou Onana, the interesting one. Kid with high potential will probably play in Champions League.
Does Iwobi have it?
So Iwobi's...
No, I'm just saying. I know he reacted well.
He reacted well to Lampard, and I remember when we beat Chelsea, he had Iwobi on the right side in a 4-4-2, and he was tremendous till he got a bit of cramp. Ran his bollocks off for Dunk. So I think Iwobi doesn't mind doing that. But it will be interesting. Can he make Dwight McNeil look like a footballer? A bit more, but what I mean by that is in terms of being effective. The kid's obviously got something. Can he be more effective? So I think it's dead interesting. I think it'll be an interesting one, but ultimately it's going to be about getting goals. So whoever can put the ball in the net, because that's what we are just absolutely awful at. And his teams haven't got a great history of scoring goals, so it's a huge conundrum. So let's see what he comes up with.
Absolutely.
Cheers, Ben.
Cheers, Ben.
Right, guys.
Thanks for that, mate. Cheers, pal. Take care. Bye now. Peter Carney says, great points made on Sky. Could not agree with more of it. Well done, lads. Gaz says, I'll be cracking a beer and getting me popcorn out for this one when I get in from work at 9. Can see it being a lively one. Connor says, do you think that anyone in the youth setup we might be given a chance? Seaman was so short up top. Bill says Sims and Mills, surely. They're the two, aren't they? They're the two who you think may well step up. Paul Gold says, the aftermath of yesterday... Go on. The aftermath of yesterday, no surprise by the lack of statements about the mess that was yesterday. A disgrace, not even a sorry we messed up. I don't think they're going to come out and apologise, are they? Now, who've we got next? Holger. Okay, hello, Holger.
Hello. Baz, hello, Pip.
Hello, mate.
What do you want to say, mate?
First of all, I want to say, I want to thank you guys for the way you represented the fan base on Sky Sports. I know you only represent yourself, and that's what you do it for. But I feel like you really embraced some good points, and you made me more proud to be an Evertonian. So thank you for that.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that, mate. Go on. What you want to say?
I just I I just feel like I needed to talk to you guys, for some, the last couple of months it's been like therapy to watch your channel. So I needed to talk with some proper scousers about what's going on, because I'm so drained. It's tough supporting Everton. I'm for the last 2 or 3 years, I've watched every Everton game that has been on television. I pay monthly. I pay around 400 Danish crowns, which is approximately like 40 pounds. I pay that monthly to ensure that I can watch Everton.
Right.
And it's not even for for joy or for fun or it's like it's just the little hope in me that we win a football game.
Yeah.
That keeps on paying for the television broadcasting. I'm just I think you can hear it on me. I'm lost for words. Yesterday I think was the most crazy experience to see a team need to invest in players and not doing it, and see all the players linked from hour to hour, and then see them go to another club or not joining because they don't want to be part of this football club right now, and rightly so. It's a miss. I'm 100% on board with Pitt in the matter of Moshiri is a liar. He told us we get a striker if we need one, and it's pretty obvious that we need a striker, and we need a lot of more players than just a striker.
Yeah,
and we don't get anybody. It's a disgrace. It really is a disgrace. And I know there's a lot of other fans who feel like me. We have one of the greatest fan bases in the English Premier League. I myself is a part of a Danish fan group on Facebook with Evertonians who on a daily basis discuss what we need to do with this situation, and people are so invested in this football club, and it's just so demoralizing seeing that we have a board who clearly isn't invested in us and don't care about us, because if they did, then we wouldn't be in this mess we are in right now. So yeah, I needed to come out with some some thoughts and words, and yeah, I hope for the best, but I fear the worst.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it, mate? Because at the moment, yesterday just felt like an admission that we're going to go down, basically, and that isn't quite the case. We're still in with a fighting chance. We're a win off 14th place, of course, but not given any kind of manager the tools he needs, whether that was Frank Lampard a few weeks ago, now it's Sean Dyche. That is a tough pill to swallow for anybody, and I think I said this yesterday, even in my most negative times, you're thinking, this is terrible. Always thought we'd come up with someone. I always thought we'd come up with a winger. I always thought we'd come up with a forward. I to be honest, I actually thought we'd come up with at least 2, maybe 3. So to come out of it with nothing does smack of the club just going, well, we're going down. But I don't necessarily believe that. But that's how it looks. And that, to me, it's... I don't really know. I don't know what else to say. It's grim.
But it's all on Sean Dyche now, isn't it? Ultimately.
To keep us up.
And
another shield.
Yeah, but I mean, the board... Yeah. I suppose what the board would say is that they've employed a man to keep us up, haven't they? So you could call it a shield, but you could also call it someone doing their job.
Yeah, well,
you know what I mean? Well. I mean, it's like 2 ways to look at it, isn't it? So they've if Sean Dyche keeps us up, the board will go, got you the fella to keep us up. That's fair enough, you know what I mean? But you want more tools, don't you? You need more tools. If you're going to build a house, I imagine you could just probably build it with a hammer and a spade. It'd be really, really hard, but you'd like the actual tools. So,
Yeah.
it must be hard for you, Holger, though. You know, being over in
Yeah.
you know, Denmark and stuff, and I'm sure
Yeah.
I'm sure you've got people around you support. You know, the clubs who were pushing for trophies and stuff, and having to sit and watch this that far away.
It's not nice, you know. I think 1/3 of the Danish population is Liverpool supporters, you know, and you know, I feel so like I can't do anything.
No.
But that's how it is, because that's how Evertonians are. You know, we pick a team and we stay by it to the day we aren't here anymore, and that's how I am. And I know I'm not the only one. And that's why I keep watching the games and keep hoping that something's gonna change. And I think Daesh is a good appointment, and I hope he can get something out of these players. But I know you guys will back him at Goodison Park.
Absolutely.
I know you will give him the best, you know, the best way to go forward. But it's just it's tough, and I could speak hours and hours and hours about how
I can hear the
frustrated
emotion in
and-
your voice, mate. I can hear I can hear you've been dying to just talk to someone about this. Do you know what I mean? I can tell.
Exactly. It's just, you know, and you know, I love Everton so much. It's you know, it's such a big part of my life. Even though I've never been at Goodison. My dad have been at Goodison. My biggest wish is to come to Goodison before we move stadium, and you know, come over and meet you guys and all the other Scousers and have a chat and, you know, talk about this football club. But right now there's no joy in watching Everton anymore. There is no joy, and it's just I could go on for hours, but I know there's a lot of other fans who feel like me, and they should also have the opportunity to speak to you guys. But
superb.
I just thank you for the way you represented the Evertonians on Sky. It was amazing, and
cheers. Mate.
Yeah,
that could be our new motto. There's no joy.
There's no joy.
Yeah, there's no joy. There's definitely no joy anymore.
Thanks,
cheers,
Holger.
mate.
Thanks for your
Cheers,
call,
mate.
mate. Take
Cheers.
care.
Speak to you soon. Bye now.
Take
you
care,
too.
mate. Bye, pal. Bye.
Right, we got Matt on as well. Let's get straight over to Matt.
Hey lads.
All right, Matt, you okay?
I hope this doesn't descend into a rant.
Go on, mate.
Go on, mate.
Say what you need to say.
A rant.
Go on. Say what you want.
The first thing I want to say is the best part of my week so far was hearing Ped tell Bill Sky Sports that he's not welcome at Goodison Park.
Go on.
Yeah, go on.
That was the best. I live 4,000 miles away, so I'm a little bit out of the loop. But what do people say about the ownership situation at Goodison Park? Because I don't think it stops with Mashiri, does it? I think there's another person they've got to go to.
Yeah, it seems that way, doesn't it? No, that of course, it isn't just Mashiri, is it?
So is that an angle that we could use? I mean, the UK government got involved with the Chelsea ownership and made sure that they were chased. Why aren't they getting involved with the Everton ownership and helping us out?
I think ultimately, there's no
paper.
There's no legal precedent for it, is there? There's there's nothing legal for the other guy.
No,
Mashiri owns the football club. We could sit here and we could talk about it, but it doesn't exist. And it's like a lot of things in the world, I suppose. It's like, we could all sit here talking about things that we think are real, but if there's no proof, you need a body of evidence. And there's clearly no evidence that, other than obviously sponsorship deals that we've had with Usmanov's companies, to talk about it. So, and what I would say is, I think if there was any proof, that he would have got legged.
Well, because a few journalists have been after him, haven't he?
Yeah, because even last week, the House of Commons, someone stood up, a Labour MP, a dame, I think, a lady, stood up and spoke about it. Now, Margaret Hodge, thank you, John. She spoke up in the. I know it was like one of those late night sort of things where there's like nobody left and all the expenses were being cashed in. But she'd highlighted the Guardian piece, and ultimately, if there's no evidence, they can talk about all these people all they want. But and in a way, part of me feels like, oh, I wish there was evidence, and that forced them. But there would have been also a lot of embarrassment attached, even more embarrassment attached to the football club if he had been classed as an owner. So it swings and roundabouts.
What we do have is media pressure.
Yeah.
We can't prove anything, but doesn't mean we leave his name off banners. Doesn't mean that we don't mention him. I mean, he's not going to want attention drawn to him, and put his name in the hat because he's clearly involved, and clearly the media want to talk about us in an FFP situation. Everton can't spend money because of FFP. It's not true. Everton can't spend money because they don't have money.
Well,
Everton can't spend money
yeah.
because of sanctions.
It's dead hard, though, isn't it? It's
The
dead
other thing I was thinking is,
Go on.
sorry, it's hard because there's a delay, so I keep talking over.
It's all right. Go on.
But one thing that might appeal for Everton towards future investors now is because we've sold Gordon, they can come and spend money. And I'm wondering if that was part of the thinking of not spending the Gordon money, because an investor can now come in and I think the calculation's like 205 million can be spent because of the 40 we record.
Yeah.
Blaney will have to get involved there, but something like that anyway.
But it just, again, it's one of these things, isn't it? Again, without being an expert on finances, I suppose it looks great, doesn't it, on the balance sheet? An extra 40 million quid sitting there, not going anywhere, probably looks great. Probably looks fantastic. Again, like you've just said, for any potential investor wants to come in now, they look at it and see that, Everton may make a profit on this year just gone with selling Richarlison and selling Anthony Gordon, and they may make a profit. That'll look great to someone coming in looking at the books and going, well, actually no, this is not as bad as we were told it was. And if Everton can stay in the Premier League, then it'll look even better. So it might be a calculated guess. I don't know because I'm not in the room and I can't. And it's not like we weren't trying to buy players or certainly trying to bring players in on loan or whatever it was. So a lot of that stuff's really hard to talk about because, again, maybe we'll know more when the books come in the next couple of months. But that certainly won't be for this period either. That'll be from the period before. So it's always that hard with finances because you're not actually delving into what's going on right now. You're looking back at what happened the year before. But I know John's mentioned this a few times. What we will find out from these books is what the people on the board are all earning per year because Marcel Brands' money's come out and stuff, or that certainly could be part of it. So we'll have a better indication of some things, but obviously not everything. So it's really hard when it comes to finances.
We need wins, don't we?
Yeah, we need wins. Why are we talking about money? Money, it's gone now. The window's shut. Let's talk about wins. We need wins. That's the top and bottom now.
If we get wins, it all looks different, doesn't it?
It does.
If we get wins, then we're still in the league and we'll look forward and,
Footy is a completely different world when you're winning.
Yeah, you didn't swear. You did well.
Well done, mate. Nice one.
Take it easy.
See you later.
See you later. Ta-ra, Matt. Ta-ra.
Have you got some super chats there, or?
Let's have a look. Yeah, I've got one waiting to go. JR on the super chat. Thanks a lot, mate. Says let's get the feel-good factor back. Put everything into supporting Dyche and the squad. Dyche will keep us up. Comfortable 2-0 win on Saturday. Tark's first goal. You heard it here first. Let's hope you're right, JR. Let's hope you're right. It's gone. Ned's getting people to do things when we're still talking. Let me just get this one. This is Kieran on the super chat. Thank you very much. Says it. Bill Kenwright turned down multiple takeovers because of concerns, and then let someone like Usmanov into the club. Awful. Well, yeah.
Again, it's hard to comment on that.
What can we say? I'm not. It's
hard to comment on who he did or who he didn't let into the club because ultimately it's just all it's hearsay, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's all hearsay. We could sit here going, "Oh, Sheikh Mansour." We don't actually know that. We don't actually know if that's true. We can't sit here and say it's true. We'd love it to be true because it's, or some people would love it to be true because it's a stick to beat them with, isn't it? But ultimately, we don't know if it's true, so it's hard to talk about.
Imagine if it was true.
I don't know, we can just sit here and imagine it was true.
But then if it was true, it'd be even worse, wouldn't it? Because look what's happened with City. So
right, we've got Bainey on the line. Go on, mate.
Go on, Bainey. What do you want to say?
Afternoon, boys. Well, Matt kind of stole a little bit of my thunder on that last one.
Okay. You can add on top of it if you want. Go on.
Well, basically, who actually owns our club? Up until 13 months ago, we had money being spent willy-nilly on transfers, and nearly any player we wanted, we could basically buy. And obviously, as things have deteriorated, people have wanted to stop coming to us. Now, we're struggling to even spend money that we've already been given, as in transfers. We spent a bit of money after the Richarlison sale on the likes of Onana, and that was the only big signing that came off that.
Yeah,
I'm not going to talk about Maupay and the other left footer, but who was really putting in the money? Because as soon as we lost the oligarch in Usmanov, who's apparently become a hell of a lot richer today, we've not really done anything.
Yeah.
We lost the sponsorship, didn't we? Which was 30 million
that's
straight
fact,
off.
Isn't it?
That's just a
fact
fact straight away.
You can actually talk about that. That's fact. That's tangible. We lost the USM money. We lost obviously the sleeve sponsor. We lost
Megaphone
on the side of the stadium. The ladies team lost all of their major sponsors with that, and obviously they had the person who had been running that obviously because that's another thing we say. Uzanov's nephew was on the board. That's a tangible link that we can talk about.
Yeah, we can.
Exactly.
So obviously his influence was on the, and this is something that people didn't really want to talk about, and then more and more people have spoke about it. But it, you can't. It's difficult to sit here and say there's no link because we do look completely financially drained since he walked away. And obviously there's been left a massive hole because of the sponsorship deals, but the sponsorship deals didn't actually look that big. But to Everton, they clearly were big because
when it's all added in, though, they are.
Of course, and that's led to a situation where we've had to put a company like Stake on our shared sponsors that no one, the club had gone to great pains 18 months before to tell us that we were never having a gambling sponsor and all that kind of thing.
In an ideal world.
Yeah, caveat in an ideal world. Caveat, yeah. It's always a nice caveat.
The minute there was
and we are left in a situation where we have to go. And yeah, I mean, listen, that will always be the speculation, isn't it? Funny enough, the guy we had in here before, who was the cameraman from Sky, was talking to us. He was an Arsenal fan, and he was talking to us about like Usmanov and Mashiri at Arsenal, and he said, I wanted Mashiri and Usmanov because the money that was getting talked about was ridiculous, and he was like, we all wanted him, and he said like a lot of the Kroenke thing was like, we don't want him to win, we want these guys to win. These have got all the money. He's like loads of. He said all the guys who were on the board at Arsenal, the traditional people, probably like people like Lady Bracewell and
Hillwood and all,
they were like, no, we don't want these fellas anywhere near us. He said they were all gutted when they left and come to Everton, and obviously in the way it's played out, they're top of the league and we're not. So there you go. So
it's as simple as
the other thing isn't our owners' net worth around 1.7 billion?
It is, it is. But how much money has he put into us? How much money is he going to take for the stadium? Don't forget as well. I mean, again, I'm not no expert, but he is obviously linked to USM as well, and USM has obviously took a hit during the last 2 years because of everything that's gone on, and also just because of like COVID and everything as well. People's financially will have had to tighten the belt. I mean, I don't know how billionaires tighten.
No.
One less yacht.
That's what it is. We're gonna have that yacht this week. Hold the caveat.
But considering the money he says he's actually spent,
the thing about it though is,
if it's 600 million on transfers, the stadium, there's no way he spent half of his money.
Exactly.
What you've got to, that is true. But also, and this has been pointed out to me a lot of times, is that when people talk about he spent 600 million on transfers, Everton Football Club have spent that money. He's not spent it. We're the ones who would have the debt. It's not him, is it? It's under our name. And Everton have recouped 360 million of that.
Maybe you can speak to John about this tomorrow when we do business with Blaine is. We've seen today Leicester City's owners have taken the debt around £200 million off the football club, and I find that I mean I don't know how that works. I've no idea. I just be interested.
Keep hearing you can't do these things, but Abramovich just put 300 million into Chelsea the year before and wiped everything off.
But it'd be really interesting, and I know Leicester have still got a few debts, but I'd really be interested to know how they did that and what does that mean for the football club going forward. So, you know, again, like you've just said, if he's a very, very rich man, very, very rich man, could he have done that, or was somebody else? Somebody you've already named. Were they doing that? There's no paper trail, so we'll never know.
That's the problem, and you know there is people sniffing around now. Apparently, you want to buy it, or certainly want to buy into it. And when you read up on them, they don't really invest where they're just patsies. They want some control. So let's hope for all our sakes that they do invest and they do want to take more control of this football club, because we need someone who knows what they're doing.
Ultimately, what I would say is, Bainey, before I let you go, is there are people out there, financial journalists and things like that, who have been trying to get to the bottom of this story, and the truth will come if there is something out there. Maybe the truth will come out. Because those people, and they're not Everton people, they're not football journalists, they're financial journalists. They're looking for a story, aren't they? Of course they are, because why wouldn't you want a story about an oligarch who bought into a Premier League club and it was all shady and there was a front man? It's a great story, and if there is a story, they'll piece it together, I imagine.
Absolutely.
So let's see what happens. I'm sure it'll all come out in the wash eventually. So there you go.
All right,
thanks,
guys.
Mate.
I know you got more people. I know you got more people waiting.
Cheers, boy.
Cheers, mate.
Take care, guys.
That's all right. Robbie Willow on the super chat says, remember about 10 years ago when the Blue Union were trying to protest and Graham Sharp laughed and said it was one man and his dog. Showed his true colours back.
It was my dog.
Was it you and your dog? Neil Higgins, thank you very much on the super chat with the thumbs up, but didn't leave a comment, so I can't read it out, but thank you. And that's I've seen a couple of ones here. Lindsay was asking why we're in such a mess with FFP, because basically we've spent money we weren't able to justify, really, isn't it? It's not as it, and that's where it is. We've give people
this is why also Chelsea are putting people on really, really long contracts, because it's it offsets FFP over the contracts. So that's what they're doing.
Barry P said, in terms of Ken Wright, who he sold to, said he found an owner who allowed him to stay on. That's why he chose them.
I'm. Do you know what though? Right, as much as I am a Bill Kenwright critic, I don't always subscribe to that though. I think when Bill Kenwright sold Everton, I genuinely believe he thought he was selling it to a guy who was going to do something big with it. And I also don't subscribe to that Bill was sticking around because it was in the contract. I honestly, I've been really critical of Bill Kenwright.
Really critical of him.
But I genuinely don't believe that. I just think he got really, really lucky.
Because he left them.
Because he left them
there.
And
you see, the thing with this, and we're going to Martin now, but the thing with this is, it's still... no one will ever be able to sit opposite me and give me an answer that satisfies why he left Bill Kenwright on there, why he left the Everton people on there without bringing in people of his own.
In the short term, it was probably...
The short term might have
probably
been
sensible because we were halfway in
the first 2 years even if he'd have gone, listen, I want 18 months to get my head around how this works, what this is, what that is. We'll leave them people. I'll have a look where the club is after that time. We've had 2.
Do you know what was interesting?
Branch reviews.
You know what's interesting though? Before, when the Arsenal fellas, what did he say to us? Who did he say saved Everton? It saved Arsenal. David Dean. David Dean. And remember when he came in and loads of people were going, David Dean could get him in and he could be the advisor. Interesting that.
But he probably wouldn't have come, would he? No. At that time, especially if he was trying to get
away
from
we've got
them.
Martin on the line. Martin, are you there, mate?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you, mate. Go on.
All right. Anyway, the reason why I'm phoning up is these past 2 transfers. I'm sorry for moaning, but
go on,
mate.
It's a moaning night.
These past 2 transfer windows, have been absolutely a fucking shit show.
I said moan, not swear.
Yeah, bloody hell, mate.
No,
Go on, carry on.
No, but you know what? I sat there last night and I watched you guys, and even when you started talking about bald hairs, you know what I mean? I was trying to work it out myself. That's how sad it
Tremendous television.
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah. And the thing is, though, this is my thought process behind all this smoke screen and Machari and the pathetic video. Oh yeah, we're getting a strike and we do this. He's throwing Threadwell under the bus because they blame him if we get relegated.
Yeah.
So, Dyche is a patsy. He's only there for 6 months. We're gone. We are gone. It breaks my heart at 54 years of age, following this club, to see this shouting, I can't swear because what he's done it once, ruining a fantastic club. And when everyone phones in, I appreciate what people are saying. Oh, we get there. We're going to... That's what they want, because he has got no interest in this club. Ken White, bless him, should just go, park up. And the other lot, Graham Sharp, who I respected in his day, is a knobhead. Absolute knobhead. Do you know what I mean? And we've been run by... It's just a comedy show. I've been to work today, and it's been like, I live in Kent. Cockneys are, all taking the mick at me all day. We're the only club not to sign anyone. Do you know, I'm sitting there thinking, fucking hell. And next thing you get this thing you guys put up, your fellas flew into London. And you know what I mean? It's like bloody watching Mike Bassey and getting Benson and Edges up, isn't it? Do you know what I mean, though? What the fuck is happening to our club? And it's just, sorry.
Can I just say, I can tell you live in Kent and you've got no other Evertonians.
I know. You know, this has been the worst month of my life. I've been manically depressed every night watching you guys. The transfer
thanks.
show, having a beer.
Thanks for that.
Mate. I think I'll be honest. I think you've just summed up January absolutely perfectly.
Yeah,
I think you've just summed it up brilliantly, mate.
I don't think you can.
Absolutely spot on with your rant there. No, I think you're absolutely right, mate. You've got and you know what? You've got every right to feel like that as well. We can bicker over. We can bicker over when before when I've said he was a lie and Baz is saying it's not a lie. It doesn't really matter, does it? At the end of the day, something was said and it's turned out that
it was an untruth.
It's turned out, I mean, what a very diplomatic way to say it. Yeah. It's turned out it hasn't happened. So you can get angry about that, can't you? You can get angry about not signing a player. They can bring out an excuse or this or that, but you can still feel the way you feel because you love your football club, and that's ultimately what it comes down to, isn't it? We all have our different ways of expressing that emotion. I know me and Baz have very different ways of expressing that emotion, but that's fine because as long as you're expressing that and it's coming from a place of love, isn't it? Because we are witnessing our football club fall apart in front of our eyes, and the people who are supposed to be the safeguards of it, the people who are supposed to be looking after it for us, we're watching them. And the mad thing is, and this is what we want to try and get across to people, is this is not like the first time this set of people have done this. They're on like their third chance and they're still doing it, and we're still going, what are you doing? I think
what we've seen this time, which is slightly different, right, is other people have prepared to go to join it now. Obviously Jamie Carragher, whether people like him or not, the Evertonian still in him. That bit of Evertonian still in him is
the worst club in the world.
Is still meaning that he's saying these things and writing these things and having a go. You've seen Phil McNulty, who's put a tweet out last night. We're seeing other mainstream media. We saw an article going after Bill Kenwright, probably one of the first I've ever seen, really, which kind of was singling out why is he still doing it. A lot of journalists now are not letting this go. And I think what happened was, I think Everton have brought this on themselves over, obviously, what happened with the Southampton game and then a lot of the stuff that's gone on since. And then, we're all very, very disappointed, aren't we, with I mean, that's a bleeding understatement. We're all absolutely fucking sickened with what's gone on this season. And this has just made it worse. This window's made it worse and compounded it. It's a disgrace, really. There's no other way for it. It's an absolute disgrace.
No, totally. And I totally respect what you're saying, but the thing is, mate, it's Groundhog Day, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Do you know what I've been saying lately? Right, and this is a bit grim, but I've been saying it lately. It's that none of us are getting any younger, mate. The time just flies, right? We're not moving anywhere. And people keep thinking It'll just get all right. And we're all getting older, and the years are rolling, but 28 years now without a trophy. And now, it's that sad, mate, that none of us are even stamping our feet to win a trophy or get in the Champions League. We just want the club leading stable. We just want the club mid-table for now while we build. It's awful. It's awful.
I'm gonna shoot in a sec, but I just want to quickly talk about Anthony Gordon. Years ago, what Everton would have done is they would have fucked him off into reserves and he would have sat there. They wouldn't have sold him. Do you know what I mean? And he would have sorted himself out. He's been led by money, and who's ever in his head, I'll tell you what, fair play, you got some money out of that lad. But he never made it for us. Couldn't do it at Preston. Carlo Ancelotti was like when he saw him. Do you know what I mean? And let him go. He's done nothing this year. He's done nothing last year. We let Licky go. We didn't backfill it. And sorry, I'm just going to go on our hands. It's just pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. Sorry, I'm going to let you go because there's people waiting.
Oh, top man.
All right, listen, you've got it off your chest now. Go and have a nice cup of tea and chill out. Go on a pint. Enjoy it. Take it easy. Ta-ra, mate. Ta-ra.
Before we get our last call in, the best thing someone said to me today is, they said, I tried that non-alcoholic Guinness on your approval and I really couldn't tell the difference. That's my work, don't you?
What's the non-alcoholic IPA like?
See, what's weird about like anything like that is, and I found this when it changed from normal milk to almond milk, is that at first you're like almond milk?
Almond, yeah.
Almond milk?
Almond, yeah.
At first you're like, what's this? You know, it's like weird.
Oh, so like an acquired taste.
No, but obviously we adapt, don't we? And it's been the same with the beers. When you know it's not beer, but if you stop drinking beer and you start drinking non-alcoholic beer,
get used to it.
It just gets used to it.
I
and
suppose,
you forget what beer tastes like.
It's like having a pint, and then you have an IPA and you go,
because it tastes different.
It's just not the same.
Yeah. So non-alcoholic beer now is starting to taste like normal to me because I'm forgetting almost what beer tasted like.
I mean, I would apply this to winning games of football. Maybe it has.
Exactly.
Maybe it has.
Exactly.
Now, I just watch now and go, win.
Have you ever been like to a chiropractor or something, and you go, that's what it feels like.
Not to
that's what it feels like.
Fair play.
You know what I mean?
Fair play.
Or if you never got your arm or something in a weird position, and then you go, why have I got my arm like that? And you go, that's not. Did that ever happen to you?
No? Don't know. Okay. Fair play. Fair play. We've got Pat. Pat, how are you?
I'm so angry. I have said this to other Everton fans that I didn't think I could be more angry at a team in a country I don't live in than a Chicago team, but I am. I didn't think it could get worse than Chicago teams disappointing. I mean, when I signed up to be an Everton fan, we were just 8th every year. Oh, that was like bang on.
How stupid you were, Pat. How silly you were.
See, that's where you made the mistake, Pat. You signed up for it. We had no choice. Yeah. So we were
signed up for it when we were 8th, though. You didn't even get to sign up for it when we were 5th or something. Oh, God. Anyway, carry on, Pat. Go on.
Get it all off your chest.
Get it off your chest, mate. Go on.
What... Frank needed to go. What was the point of doing that if he was the only recruitment option? The idea was come play for England legend Frank Lampard. That was our recruitment pitch. And did no one realize that's the only thing we had going for us? Now, he's a silly manager, but he's apparently he was basically just recruiting on his own reputation is what I'm sort of getting now.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm hearing. I don't know if that's true, but there was just no plan. Giving Deitch one day to convince people or to help do that or do one day. What are Bill and Graham Sharp and Farhad doing on a Saturday that they so need to do?
They have the day off. They just have the day off. Weekend.
Someone said that they don't work weekends.
Club is stinking.
Pat, no one works on weekends in the UK, mate. They just don't work. Honestly,
the Premier League, though.
We just honestly, the UK on a weekend, it's no one works anywhere. Honestly,
no,
Mary Poppins.
I mean, a lot do.
No, I'm messing about. Like Paddington, we all live in our £3 million houses in London.
Yeah.
And that's what it's like in jolly old UK.
Go to the store in the UK. If it's past 2 in the afternoon, it's closed.
It's sad, isn't it?
I mean, how 90s is it? They think that like no one will like you have Twitter. It's not like we'll think you'll hear it in the papers. No one will hear it right now, and then we can put the spin on it. It's like it'll be out in 5 minutes after we call another team.
Yeah.
That's it.
And the thing was, I got my hopes up. Which
well, that's
because
Pat.
There's your
That's
first
on
mistake.
you. That's on you. No one told you to get your hopes up about Everton, Pat.
When I heard about a 6'7" striker who has scored almost a goal a game in Belgium, which, okay, there would be a league drop, but that's a goal a game striker. Even if that goes down to 1 in 3 or 1 in 4, it's better than anything we had. And he's 6'7", and he works hard. That is a Dyche player, if I've ever heard one, and he went to Southampton.
Yeah.
They took the winger and the striker we were looking at, Southampton. That's a good idea. Yeah.
Oh my God. So that's the bad thing. I understand players are pretty pampered in the UK, and I'm coming to, in the UK and England especially though, and have a big goal, no matter where they come from. When they play here, they are in sort of an exclusive celebrity like bubble that I guess in our culture, because everyone makes money off the players here, we're more sympathetic to the players because they don't have a say. They get traded, they're just gone. They go. You don't have a say, you're going. Too bad. You know, and so people get shoved around in the NFL. Their careers are short. So, but I'm starting to understand it. So I don't want to make this sound like I'm to borrow Lampard here, bigging up Onana and Iwobi and like as two of our better players for not going, but at least it's better than what other people do. Said, I'll stay for a relegation fight, even though what like Arsenal and like Spurs were in for him, and I'm sure would have paid. And so I would guess someone would want people who have that ability at a young age, or like Alex Iwobi, who looks like he's coming back into his own, who has 7 goal contributions in the 20 games with our horrendous scoring. He's like half of our offense every week, so no wonder they mark him out of the game.
Yeah.
That's it.
So at least I wanted to at least give them a little bit of credit for both sticking with us for this.
Yeah,
fair play.
Big thanks to them.
Yeah, for the next few months anyway.
Big thanks to them. Now can they turn up and score some goals and assists and all the rest of it.
But yeah, I hope Dyche can pull a miracle.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
That's what we're down to now, aren't we? We unless IU comes in and is anyone that bothered?
It could be your striker.
A few people have said they'd rather Sims play, whatever. Unless he comes in, then we know what squad we're going with, and it's all on Dyche, isn't it, to get us out of this? So, yeah. That's where we are. That's sad.
I can't even. I was going through today, sad as it is, I was going through like MLS and like Argentinian, the Liga Postobon and the Brazil Serie A, seeing who free agents were there because their window's open and they would have a bunch of free agents. And I just got sadder and sadder as I went down the lists.
Yeah. Everton wouldn't know what to do with that, mate.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Let's just hope we do something on Arsenal.
Next week, instead of being the last caller, I hope you're the first caller and you're dead positive.
And we're talking about an unbelievable victory.
And we're looking for a 2-game winning streak.
Yeah. Going to Liverpool.
Beating the I'm not going to swear.
No.
Beating the Reds would be fantastic. I would love to see Dyche run it. Now I'm getting happy again. I want to see Dyche just get up and Klopp's horse-toothed face and just smack him up a bit in the tunnel. It'd be like, come here, you're coming down the tunnel with me.
Okay, I mean, you've turned it into WWE.
This phone-in has been amazing.
But fair play.
The amount of things.
I can't do like a British accent or a Scouse accent or like a...
Neither can Sean Dyche.
Oh, I know, and I can't do anything. It's all this, like all my attempts at English British accents are all the same, so it wouldn't matter. I could do a gravelly American voice though.
Oh, well, there you go. The equivalence it's the equivalence, isn't it?
All right,
Pat, great to have you on, mate.
Nice one, mate.
See you later.
Take care, mate. Ta-ra.
Have you got any super chat?
Right, I'll just double check the last couple. I'll just see him on. Richie G says, "Hi lads, listening from Cape Verde with a beer. Great interview on Sky. All we can." As you said, is back back the board, sack the board, and back Sims and Dom up front.
It's a bold statement.
It is a bold statement. The super chat, Yardy123 on the super chat, thank you very much, says, no Russian money in the club. The bottom line is we're skint. Well, if that is the case, they will, someone will find it, won't they? But something has definitely changed, obviously, since the sanctions and all that. But the USM thing, I think, on the face of it, regardless of anything else that does or does nothing, certainly on the face of it, losing the USM, the megaphone money leaves a big, 50 million pound hole straight off the bat. So we'll just have to see, won't we? We'll just have to see. There you go. It's been very interesting. I hope some people have got it off the chest. I hope some people have, feel a little bit more therapeutic. We'll be back obviously tomorrow on Premiere. So join us then and we get your points across. Then make sure you subscribe, hit the like button on your way out. Thanks for joining us. Take it easy. We'll see you later. Bye.